A United States Navy destroyer is sitting on the bottom of the ocean floor, sunk by Iran. If you just felt your stomach drop, that reaction is completely justified, because what you're about to hear is not a simulation, not a war game, and not a hypothetical. This is real, it is happening right now, and the decisions being made in Washington in the next 72 hours will shape the world for decades to come. Welcome back. For the first time since the Second World War, the United States has lost a warship in active combat. 80 years ago, Harry Truman was in the White House. The atomic bomb had not yet been dropped, and American destroyers were going down in the Pacific. Now, in our lifetime, history has repeated itself in the most violent and shocking way possible. This is not a story about one ship. This is a story about power, deterrence, escalation, and the very fragile order that has kept major world powers from fighting each other directly since 1945. Stay with me, because every single layer of this event matters. The first thing you need to understand is how this attack actually happened, because it was not a lucky shot. The destroyer was operating in the Red Sea corridor, one of the most critical waterways on the planet, connecting the Suez Canal to the Indian Ocean and carrying billions of dollars in global trade every single day. Iranian forces executed a layered, coordinated strike that began with electronic jamming to blind the ship's radar and cut off its communications. Then came waves of drones, dozens of them, many of which were decoys, deliberately designed to exhaust the ship's close-in weapon systems and drain its interceptor missiles. Once those defenses were depleted, a fast anti-ship missile came in below the radar horizon, giving the crew fewer than 15 seconds to respond. A second missile hit the superstructure moments later. The fires were uncontrollable. This was not improvisation. This was a precision military operation, and it worked exactly as planned. What makes this even more alarming is what the attack revealed about Iran's capabilities. The Pentagon did not publicly believe Iran possessed this level of coordination, intelligence, and technical sophistication at this scale. The operation required real-time targeting data, multi-system synchronization, and strategic timing that points to something far more serious than an independent Iranian decision. Intelligence sources are already investigating whether a state actor, a powerful one, provided satellite intelligence to Iranian commanders in the hours before the strike. If that is confirmed, this is no longer just an Iran problem. It becomes a proxy confrontation between superpowers, with American sailors as the casualties. Then there is the question of American lives. The Pentagon has confirmed significant crew casualties, making this the largest single loss of American military life in the Middle East in over 2 decades. These were sailors doing their jobs in one of the most dangerous stretches of ocean on Earth. The carrier strike group responded immediately. Jets launched, ships repositioned, battle stations were called. But by the time the aircraft were in the air, there was nothing left to strike. The Iranian assets had already scattered. The drones were expended. The fast boats had disappeared. The attack was designed to be unanswerable in the immediate window, and it was. America stood in the wreckage with nothing to shoot back at, and the whole world was watching. Now comes the hardest part. What does America do next? Option 1 is a massive retaliatory strike on Iranian naval bases, missile facilities, and command infrastructure. The military capability exists. The political pressure is enormous. American blood has been spilled, and domestically the demand for a response is deafening. But option 2 is the nightmare hiding directly behind option 1. A direct strike on Iranian soil does not stay a bilateral conflict. Iran has agreements and understandings with actors from Lebanon to Yemen to Iraq to Syria, and a regional war could ignite within 72 hours. There is no clean option here. Every path carries serious risk, and the choice Washington makes will either restore deterrence or signal to every adversary on the planet that America can be hit without consequence. The economic dimension of this crisis is just as dangerous as the military one. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow stretch of water between Iran and Oman, carries roughly 20% of the world's oil supply every single day. If Iran decides to mine that strait, or block it with naval assets in retaliation for an American strike, the global economy does not slow down. It seizes. Oil prices would spike to levels not seen in modern history. The inflation pressures the world has been managing for the past several years would look mild by comparison. This is not speculation. It is the scenario that energy economists and naval strategists are actively modeling right now. The loss of one destroyer is simultaneously a military event, an economic trigger, and a diplomatic earthquake. The broader geopolitical context makes this moment even more consequential. China and Russia are watching every move Washington makes because how America responds here will directly inform how those powers calculate their own next moves, in Taiwan and in Ukraine respectively. Iran's hardliners will be emboldened by this attack. They will hold it up as proof that their military doctrine works, that a determined adversary can bleed a superpower and survive. That narrative will be powerful inside Iran, it will complicate any diplomatic off-ramp, and it will strengthen the hands of those in Tehran who want confrontation rather than de-escalation. Meanwhile, Britain is on heightened alert, France has recalled its ambassador, Israel is recalibrating its threat assessments, and Saudi Arabia has gone very quiet, a silence that speaks volumes about how seriously the region is taking this moment. And we cannot ignore the nuclear dimension. Iran is currently closer to nuclear weapons capability than at any point in its history. The diplomatic effort to constrain that program collapsed when the JCPOA fell apart, and enrichment has advanced significantly since then. The country that just sank an American destroyer is the same country racing toward a nuclear threshold. That combination, demonstrated military aggression paired with an advancing nuclear program, is exactly the scenario that defense planners have dreaded for years. The window for diplomatic solutions is narrowing fast, and every day that passes without a clear American response makes Iran's hardliners stronger and any negotiated outcome more difficult. This is where we are. One American destroyer is on the ocean floor. Sailors are gone. The world's most important oil shipping corridor is under threat. A regional war is one miscalculation away, and the decisions being made in Washington right now, in the next 72 hours, will echo for years. This is not the end of a story. This is the beginning of a chapter that historians will be studying for generations. The post-war international order, the rules and red lines that kept major powers from fighting each other for 80 years, are under direct pressure tonight in the waters of the Red Sea. Stay locked in, because this develops by the hour. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think America launches a direct strike on Iran, or does Washington find another way to respond without triggering a full regional war? Share this with someone who thinks the world is running normally today. Because it isn't. And the sailors who were lost deserve to be remembered by an informed public that understands exactly what happened and why it matters.